Today, I'm continuing my blessed reprieve from the revolting circus that I normally go through. I require something more refined now, not the slow existential rot of watching a woman microwave herself to death in real time. I needed a palate cleanser, and by palate I mean brain. So I did what I do every year. I watched every Treehouse of Horror episode. All of them. The Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors first slithered into our lives in 1990 during the second season, back when Marge still feared public outcry and Bart was still vaguely threatening. Inspired by the EC Comics horror tradition, each Halloween special presents 3 self-contained segments dripping in parody, pastiche, and occasionally genuine brilliance. They've spoofed Poe, Kubrick, King, Hitchcock, classic horror, sci-fi, myth, and Twilight for some reason. There are over 30 of these episodes now, with 3 segments each. It's a bloated corpse of content, so I thought I'd pick just 25. It was like choosing which of my demon spawn to sacrifice in a moon ritual. I had to scrap my first draft because it was so easy to fill it with nothing but early episodes. Seasons 3 through 8 alone is a masterclass in grotesque perfection. But that would be lazy, and I don't like being lazy. I've chosen to dig through all 30 plus years of Halloween mayhem. The highs, the lows, the why did they air this? And from that I have exhumed 25 worth remembering. Probably not all of them are what you'd expect. Some are criminally underrated. Some are stone cold classics. Some of them are so stupid they loop back around to genius again, like me in school. This isn't about nostalgia. You may disagree, you may cry, you may scream, "Where's Clown Without Pity?" But this is my crypt, and these are my picks. So light your jack-o'-lantern, pour yourself something suspiciously thick, and prepare for these 25 tales of terror. I'm beginning with vengeance, violence, and a surprisingly sharp turn for a modern treehouse. I did not expect this to impress me, especially after the other segments fumbled harder than Ralph Wiggum in a spelling bee. And yet, here we are. I'm talking about 8 from Treehouse of Horror 34. It has the audacity to pick up where Cape Fear left off. Cape Fear is a sacred cow of Simpsons lore, and it slaughters that cow right in front of us. Bart dies, Lisa watches, and suddenly we're in a nightmare. Lisa becomes a criminal psychologist called in to solve a string of grotesque murders, each victim a firstborn child, each crime scene marked by blood-soaked warnings. The clues pile up, the killer's lair is a twisted replica of Lisa's childhood bedroom, Nelson gets killed, and just when you think they're gonna cop out and give us another "it was all a dream" twist, no, it was Lisa all along. Meticulous planning, split personality, Maggie as her accomplice. Lisa murders Sideshow Bob in cold blood. It's a full circle aria of revenge. It's gory, it's stylish, and for the first time in years, they went full psycho and stuck the landing. It's not perfect, few things after season 10 are, but this segment committed, and that alone earns it a place on my list. Next up comes from the exact point in Treehouse history where things could have gone either way. The writing is wobbling, the cultural references are getting sticky, and yet the Ned Zone hits that sweet radioactive middle ground between Twilight Zone and pure unfiltered Homer-induced doom. It is a parody, but it never gets bogged down with the source. Instead, it uses Ned Flanders' neurotic godliness to unleash a domino chain of completely preventable, deeply stupid deaths. And honestly, that's my love language. Ned develops a psychic ability to foresee death after Homer nearly kills him with a bowling ball, as one does, and he proceeds to fumble that gift with all the grace of a priest at a burlesque show. The Mole Man sequence alone is art, saved from a telephone wire only to drop into a manhole full of alligators. It's so absurd, but every beat hits. Ned has a vision that he's gonna shoot Homer and vows not to. Then he has a vision of Homer blowing up Springfield. So Ned does shoot him, but that only accelerates the obliteration of the town. The whole town goes kaboom and ascends to heaven. Even the garage makes it to heaven because Marge assumes that Homer only nuked the city just to avoid cleaning it. This segment is perfect for me. And honestly, it's probably the last time that I found Flanders funny. Post season 15, Ned just quotes scripture and cries. In this, he's a reluctant prophet in a hell of his own creation. I relate. This one earns its place. It's morbid, tightly paced, blasphemous, efficient. I approve. The next segment is from Treehouse of Horror 31. It's the Groundhog Day loop episode, a sci-fi trope so overused it should be retired with honours and locked in a vault next to It Was All a Dream. But against the odds, B9 Rewind takes the concept, hands it to Lisa, and lets the body count soar. This one is wild from the beginning. It's Lisa's 9th birthday, she's writing in a diary about how bleak everything feels, and then BAM! A car comes through the wall and kills her. No hesitation, no setup, just dead children. Welcome to Treehouse of Horror. Then she wakes up back at her desk, forced to relive the day again, and again, and again. Nelson shows up, confesses he's trapped in a loop too. Bart's treehouse collapses on them, roof beams crush Lisa, mirrors crush her, Ralph takes 2 steps back and is obliterated by a car. It's an endless montage of child death, and I say that with cold admiration. Lisa and Nelson keep trying to fix the loop. High fives that end in wood chippers, air conditioners falling, fire, you name it. And when they've finally died enough times to fill a Final Destination box set, they go to Comic Book Guy for advice. He flatly calls the time loop simultaneously the most ambitious and laziest sci-fi trope, and still Lisa and Nelson can't break it. Until Nelson finally kills Gil with a cinder block, as you do, and that somehow shatters the loop. Lisa learns her hallmark lesson that no day is perfect, enjoy the one you have. Nelson learns nothing and the universe resets. It's dark, meta, and weirdly heartfelt. It's not perfect, but it's more daring than most post-classic segments. It's efficient chaos, has a high body count, and it's self-aware. And for modern Treehouse, this is as good as it gets. Number 22 is not a horror segment. It's not even Halloween themed. It has no gore, no ghosts, no grisly demise, but it does work for me. I'm talking about the greatest story ever told from Treehouse of Horror 23. It has no right to be so charming, cohesive, and casually apocalyptic as it is. It's basically a black hole comedy, a void farce. They have a particle accelerator, Lisa gets blamed when nothing fun happens, and then, surprise, it rips a hole in space-time and devours the town. Lisa begs everyone not to feed the black hole, so of course the family immediately opens a waste disposal service, and Springfield, idiotic Springfield, lines up to dump everything into the void. And this thing is hungry, it's absurd, it's sci-fi satire, and it somehow manages to capture some of the old Treehouse magic without needing to dress itself in blood and bats. And the twist is that they're not obliterated, they're just relocated, spat out on some alien planet where the literal garbage has become sacred treasure. It's charming, it's weird, it's not so spooky, but it is clever. And these days I'll take clever over lazy gore any day. It's a strong concept and it's executed pretty well. That's rare, so I respect it. Number 21 comes from Treehouse of Horror 12. We're almost in post-classic Treehouse of Horror, halfway between the good old stuff and the newer throw everything at the screen and see what sticks. It isn't scary, it isn't subtle, but it is chaos. And done correctly, chaos can be art. The Simpsons stroll through Ethnic Town, wander into a fortune teller's shop, and before you know it, Homer's managed to trash the place. The gypsy, of course, curses Homer. Everyone he loves will suffer. And suffer they do. Marge wakes up with a beard, Lisa begins morphing into a centaur, Maggie becomes a ladybug, Bart's neck elongates grotesquely after Homer strangles him. It's one of the few body horror moments in Middle Treehouse that still lands. Moe gives Homer the obvious solution, capture a leprechaun to undo the curse. Because that's how you undo a curse. Homer, naturally, denies anything is wrong until a helicopter crashes through the ceiling, kills Lenny and Carl, and Moe gets crammed into his own pickled eggs jar. Baited with Lucky Charms, Homer manages to catch a leprechaun and brings it home, where Lisa suggests turning it loose on the gypsy. The leprechaun and the gypsy fall in love mid-brawl, rolling on the floor, scratching and kissing. And by the end, they're in a wedding officiated by Yoda, with Kang, Kodos, and every mythical creature you can name as guests. Marge is now completely covered in blue hair and Bart is dead off-screen. Homer refuses to apologize even if it will bring Bart back because the gypsy's not the boss of him. Curtain down. It's gross, it's random, it's pretty lazy in places, but somehow the curse, the body horror, the leprechaun romance, and the Yoda wedding all gel into a truly weird little slice of early 2000s Treehouse. It's not refined, it's not elegant, but it is bizarre enough to warrant a place. I'm giving place 20 to Reaper Madness from Treehouse of Horror 14. This is how you do morbid comedy. Reaper Madness is everything I would want from a Treehouse segment. It's got a great concept, a high body count, and a Homer so self-serving he tricks God. The Grim Reaper arrives to collect Bart and is immediately subjected to a Benny Hill chase around the house. And just as he's about to reap his reward, Homer cracks his skull open with a bowling ball. Not because Bart's life matters, but because death also took Snowball 1 and JFK. Homer's priorities are perfect. And once death is dead, no one can die. Marge, as usual, tells Homer to clean up his mess, take death out with the trash. And what does he do? Puts on the robe, as one does. And just like that, he is the new Grim Reaper. And then the moral conundrum, Homer is told to kill Marge. And instead he murders Patty, tapes Marge's hair to her head, and presents the corpse to God as the completed assignment. The segment ends with Marge rewarding Homer with a pork chop for not murdering her, and Homer proudly declaring that he'll avoid killing her every week from now on. Domestic bliss. Number 19 is Treehouse of Horror 23. It opens with Homer filming himself for posterity, assuming he'll die heroically, and ends with a three-way with two demons screaming a safe word. Cinnamon, by the way, the safe word is cinnamon. The actual structure is surprisingly solid. Strange nighttime footage, levitating children, doors slamming, possessed wandering. Teenage Patty and Selma made a deal decades ago to summon Satan because there was nothing good on TV and no boys liked them. Mood. Eventually, the devil, who resembles Moe, because of course he does, wants his dues. But Marge bargains. She buys 30 years of peace by promising her favourite child when the time is up. And just when you think it can't get worse, Homer, desperate to negotiate again, is roped into a three-way with the two demons. And he's into it. The demons start panicking during the three-way. One of them screams the safe word repeatedly. It is a moment. I would take this sweaty, sleazy mess over a lot of the later parodies. It commits. It's efficient chaos and demons with safe words. I approve. For number 18, we're going way back to the beginning. Bad Dream House. The first segment of the first Treehouse of Horror. This was the blueprint. The haunted house, the vortex, imploding real estate. The year was 1990. Poltergeist parodies were still fresh, and The Simpsons, still all jittery from season 1's animation, bought a suspiciously cheap house with a suspiciously angry kitchen vortex. It isn't the flashiest segment, there's no alien invasions yet, no parodies of Kubrick or King, but it works because it's just so simple, structured, and genuinely eerie. A lamp strangles Bart, the walls bleed, Homer gets flung into the ceiling, the family gets possessed and tries to kill each other with axes and knives. They soon discover that the house was built on an Indian burial ground, and when the house threatens them again, Marge scolds it like a rude dinner guest. She says the house is just gonna have to learn to live with them, to which the house responds by self-destructing. It would rather die than live with the Simpsons. It literally implodes itself in shame and despair. Imagine being so unbearable that a haunted house kills itself. It's not really a scary segment, but it is foundational. It's a perfect blend of parody, dysfunction, and spooky silliness, and it still holds up 3 decades later. It's clean, it's timed well, not a second wasted. The house chose oblivion over dealing with them. It's understandable. Number 17 is from Treehouse of Horror 19. Just to be clear, I am not a Milhouse enthusiast. He is the damp washcloth of Springfield. I don't even like the source material. I've always found Charlie Brown to be really boring, but this segment does work for me. This is pretty great. It opens with Milhouse, pathetic as ever, waiting for the mythical grand pumpkin in a pumpkin patch. Lisa, who has probably been through this before, joins only to prevent a crying fit. But she leaves in disgust when Milhouse won't give it up. Milhouse's sad little tears bring the grand pumpkin to life, and what a glorious design he is. He's all orange and bulbous and furious. The animation is beautiful. It's like a haunted Hallmark card. Milhouse offers the grand pumpkin some pumpkin bread, and in that moment, everything unravels. The pumpkin's realization that pumpkins are murdered and carved every Halloween makes him snap. He starts eating people whole. In the end, Milhouse summons Tom Turkey to save the day, which he does by brutally killing the grand pumpkin. And then, when Tom Turkey finds out when Thanksgiving is, the segment slides seamlessly from one holiday trauma to another. It's perfect tonal whiplash. Yeah, Nelson's Grand Pumpkin super gay song is jarringly out of place, but otherwise the humour lands. It walks the line between reverent homage and violent send-up. It's beautifully animated, surprisingly dark, and quite disciplined. It tells the story, executes the parody, and then wraps it up with seasonal menace. Number 16 goes to Homer Cubed. This one's legendary. Not for its gore or the horror, but because in 1995 The Simpsons rendered Homer in 3 dimensions. The setup is perfect. Homer hiding from Patty and Selma, ducking behind a bookcase and stumbling into a portal to the 3rd dimension. At the time, this was visually revolutionary. Today it looks like a tech demo, but it's still strangely mesmerizing. The scale, the shadows, the silence, Homer's confused little mumblings echoing through the void. It's like Tron, but stupid. Professor Frink explains that Homer is trapped in the 3rd dimension, so Bart straps himself in and dives in to save him. Bart can't reach him, Homer panics, and then a polygon collapses, the entire world implodes, and Homer gets sucked into the abyss. He emerges in the real world. Live action. A practical street, real cars, real people, and Homer, now a CGI blob of uncertainty, wanders into an erotic bakery. Because of course he does. It's surreal, it's dated, but there's something about it. The visual ambition, the quiet melancholy, the ending so absurd. It's not horror in the traditional sense, it's existential. Homer leaves the animation entirely. It's weird, experimental, risky, but it stands out even now. And I don't care that it looks like it was rendered on a potato. It holds up. To the erotic cake shops we go. Number 15 is Oh the Places You'll Doe from Treehouse of Horror 24. I know this one will divide people. Not everyone appreciates the transformation of Springfield into a rhyming Seussian slaughterhouse. But I did. The segment is deranged, beautifully, gorgeously deranged. The visuals are exquisite and the rhymes are deliciously twisted, and the body count is glorious. Bart, Lisa and Maggie are home with the mumps, while Marge attends a Halloween party in a Catwoman costume that everyone else is wearing, including Comic Book Guy. Enter the Fat in the Hat, part cat, all menace. He gives them vaccinations and immediately drags them into a Halloween night rampage. Mr. Burns is blown up and served as dinner to a homeless shelter. Moe is skinned alive and his flesh is used as a scarf. Apu is forced to spend time with his family, which somehow feels worse. Patty and Selma are obliterated, Town Hall is annihilated, Ralph Wiggum is floop-fluffle-sided. Every line is a deranged rhyme. Every death is a gleeful jab at Seuss. It's macabre poetry, and yet it's so over the top that it circles right back to comedy. I have to praise the animation. The textures, the angles. It's a visual masterpiece hiding behind a bedtime book. Eventually, the children try to escape, but the Fat in the Hat is always one step ahead, until Maggie impales him with his own umbrella. He dies on the carpet, and his final words, "I'm frightened of nothing, not even hellfires. Just don't let me ever be played by Mike Myers." It's a better death monologue than anything Shakespeare ever wrote. It's absurd, and it's a lot, but if you're a Dr. Seuss fan, it's fan service with a side of arson. The rhyming is sharp, the animation is exceptional, and the gore is stylized. It's not the best segment, but it commits to its bit completely. Rhymes, murder, umbrella stabbings, it's what I love to see. Next up is I Know What You Diddly Iddly Did from Treehouse of Horror 10. The year was 1999, the slasher boom was in full swing. Scream had sliced open the genre, and I Know What You Did Last Summer had proved that pretty people running from consequences could still print money. Naturally, The Simpsons took this moment of horror revival and made it about killing Ned Flanders with a car. And it works. Marge runs over Ned while driving through the spooky fog, and the family instantly chooses to fake his death. Ned's funeral is filled with the usual nonsense, and soon enough messages start appearing. I know what you did, scratched onto walls, cars, paranoia rising. It's exactly what you'd expect from a teen horror parody, but filtered through the Springfield lens of incompetence and fried nerves. But, shock twist, Ned isn't dead. He was bitten by a werewolf right before Marge flattened him, so instead of dying, he resurrected with claws and fur and bloodlust. It's just poor timing on everyone's part. The family flee, but Homer naturally is the one left behind. As Ned transforms under the full moon, Homer taunts him mid-mauling. If you're gonna be eviscerated, you might as well get the last word in. It's a tight parody. Slasher suspense, eerie setups, ridiculous deaths, and a twist that blends werewolf lore with 90s Scream Queen nonsense. And Ned Flanders as a hook-wielding stalker? Inspired. The best part is the pacing. The segment wastes no time. Every beat is purposeful and every twist lands. If you love I Know What You Did Last Summer, this is your candy-coated murder treat. And even if you don't, it's still a razor-sharp little horror short with great tension and a delightfully dumb twist. It's slick, it's simple, it's satisfying, and Ned gets to be a werewolf, which frankly kinda suits him. Number 13 goes to The Exorcist from Treehouse of Horror 28. You won't hear me praise the later seasons often, for good reason, but this is another rare exception. It's a late Treehouse segment that not only understands the assignment, but honors it. It's a proper Exorcist parody that doesn't fumble the pea soup. I loved this one. You give me Pazuzu, a haunted Amazon delivery, I'm home. The segment had a reverence for the source and the guts to kill off the town. It lifts the prologue of The Exorcist exactly, only this time it ends with the demon statue being shipped to Springfield because Homer, in his infinite wisdom, thought Pazuzu meant pizza. The statue ends up in Maggie's crib and then things go straight to hell. Homer sings a lullaby with glowing red eyes, and Maggie becomes a vessel of ancient evil. And all of this just so happens to coincide with Homer and Marge's cocktail party. Nothing says family dysfunction like a possessed infant murdering your guests. Helen Lovejoy gets impaled, Dr. Hibbert gets killed while his affair is exposed. Even Ned gets it. beaten senseless and choked on a toy car while trying to be holy. Enter the priest, because every exorcism needs one. He arrives, performs the rite, and purges the demon from Maggie, only for the spirit to flee into Bart instead. And then Pazuzu himself nopes out of Bart Simpson's psyche. That's how foul this child is. It is a wonderfully structured segment. Strong opening, solid kills, clever gags, and a sincere love of The Exorcist. The pacing, the neck twisting, it's all there, filtered through Simpsons' absurdity. Late-era Treehouse rarely earns my respect, but this one, for me, was genuinely funny, genuinely dark. And Maggie as a tiny death goblin, I love it. It's polished, effective, and infernally charming. Number 12 is Send in the Clones from Treehouse of Horror 13. This is one of the most delightfully absurd pieces of Homer-based horror ever animated. Send in the Clones isn't scary or realistic, but it's chaos of the highest order. A cursed hammock mass-produces Homers. He buys it off a cursed trinket vendor and lies in it only to discover that it spits out full-grown, semi-obedient Homer clones. Honestly, that's better than anything IKEA is currently offering. At first, it's convenient. Why fix the light bulb yourself when a belly-buttonless doppelganger can be electrocuted in your place? Need to visit Grandpa? Clone. Help Marge pick an outfit? Clone. Play baseball with your kids? Clone. And they immediately begin degenerating. The Homers grow dumber and dumber until one murders Flanders, which, let's be honest, was always a statistical inevitability. Homer dumps the remaining clones in a cornfield and murders anyone who knows the way home. I admire the commitment. Of course, they immediately use the discarded hammock to mass-produce an entire army of Homers who descend upon Springfield like a plague of bald, donut-hungry idiots. Things escalate to national emergency. The military gathers and determines that at current rates, Homer will consume all of America by tomorrow. That's not a projection, that's a promise. The solution is to lure them to Springfield Gorge with giant donuts suspended from helicopters. And of course, it works. The clones tumble over the cliff in droves. Problem solved. Except it wasn't the real Homer who survived. Marge comes to bed and the Homer next to her gives a back rub, suspiciously considerate, because it's a clone. The real Homer was the first off the cliff, chasing a donut with blind glee. The ending is perfect. The clone is better than the original and Marge is happy. Let's be real, if you could have a Homer that didn't act like real Homer, would you even care? Exactly. Chaos, clones, cliffside donuts. This segment is idiocy refined to an art, and I love it. Number 11 is Simpsons World from Treehouse of Horror 33. An amusement park crawling with synthetic Homers, looped dialogue, and curated nostalgia. In other words, exactly what modern Simpsons already feels like. And that's why it works. They finally leaned into the self-awareness. Homer's monorail host malfunctions during a performance, as tourists pour beer down his throat. And in his post-concussive haze, he raises his own self-awareness setting, and from that moment on, everything is unhinged. He escapes the lab in classic Homer fashion, wildly flailing, launching surgical tools across the room and killing the park techs. He reactivates Lisa first and then wakes the family one by one. Something I really love is that of all the Marges he could have chosen from all the episodes, the one he goes for, the one that he wants, is regular Marge. There's something really sweet about that, and I really like it. Going forward, the references are stacked. The B-Sharps, the Canyonero, the Bush. The park retaliates by unleashing security androids, all of them Ralph Wiggums. The battle sequence is fantastic. The makeup shotgun, the slingshot, the t-shirt cannon. Marge arrives in the Canyonero to save them. They flee the park and hide in a roadside diner, discussing how they'll blend in with human life, only to find that they're in Bob's Burgers, because of course this entire universe is a shared IP farm. The final reveal that there are dozens of parks, each themed around a long-running animated sitcom, it's fantastic. Is it overstuffed? Yes. Is it fan service? Absolutely. But it's gorgeous. The animation is great, the pacing's brutal, the references are layered on top of each other full of inside jokes. It's a theme park about itself. Narcissistic? Certainly. But after 3 decades, who among us wouldn't weaponize our own legacy? The segment may be many things. Loud, indulgent, even arrogant. But above all, it's self-aware, and I do respect that. I'd visit Simpsons World. Going into the top 10, number 10 goes to Dial M for Murder from Treehouse of Horror 20. This is delicious. It's an ode to Hitchcock, but more than that, it's a slow, grim little spiral into premeditated murder, all shot like a lost reel from strangers on a train. The setup is simple. Lisa sent to detention by Miss Hoover for the grievous crime of being outperformed by another child, but a seasoned detainee offers her the idea of crisscross. Lisa thinks he means she'll ring Krabappel's doorbell and run, but Bart means murder, as in you kill mine, I'll kill yours. The line between juvenile hijinks and homicide has been fully erased in Bart's mind. The segment plays it totally deadpan, which makes it even funnier. Lisa, of course, refuses, and we get a knife chase through the schoolyard. Just when Lisa decides she won't be like him, she throws the knife away, and fate, of course, throws it right into Bart's skull. Poetic justice via physics is a Hitchcock ending worthy of applause, and then Mrs. Krabappel praises Lisa for eliminating the problem. It's cold, clinical, and glorious. For fans of Hitchcock, this is as faithful as parody gets. Stylish, thoughtful, vicious. I love it. Number 9 goes to The Others from Treehouse of Horror 25. The Simpsons have to confront their own past selves, which frankly is more terrifying than any demon. It's a parody of The Others, but with a very self-aware twist. The ghosts haunting the house are the Simpsons themselves, from the Tracy Ullman Show, the original, weirdly voiced, rubber-limbed, deeply cursed-looking proto-Simpsons. They appear out of thin air, dragging their crusty 80 energies with them, leaving behind frosty chocolate milkshakes and reruns of Married with Children. Modern Homer predictably starts flirting with Ghost Marge. She's softer, more affectionate, less jaundiced from decades of Homer idiocy. Jealous, modern Marge then kills herself via oven and joins the undead party. Naturally, Ghost Homer gets jealous of the attention being given to living Homer, so kills him in the bathtub with a toaster. Lisa then dies chasing Bart into a tree. Bart is promptly choked to death by Ghost Lisa in revenge, and as their corpses are dragged away, groundskeeper Willie implies that he's making stew out of the children. It's lovely. The two Marges talk it out, modern Homer must choose between them, and for once he chooses correctly, which in this context means the one who's still recognisable from the merge. Lisa, ever the prophet, wonders aloud if there could be other versions of them out there. Cue a montage of Simpsons variants from every corner of animation. Anime, Adventure Time, South Park, Lego, Despicable Me. It's self-referential, ruthless, and impeccably animated. The tone is less horror and more existential dread. What happens when your past won't stop haunting you? The message is clear. The Simpsons can take many, many forms. But in every universe, they will always be dysfunctional and impossible to kill off. Long live the ghosts of syndication. In number 8, we get another from Treehouse of Horror 33, the Pookadook. I'm gonna be honest, I did not like the Babadook. At all. Not a single part of that movie worked for me. But this segment manages to surpass the source. Marge, bless her blue tower of restraint, finally snaps. She reads Maggie a cursed little pop-up book, and a spectral force that feeds on repressed rage and unpaid emotional labour takes her over. We can't pretend that Marge hasn't earned a possession arc. Homer is an overgrown liability, her children are either chaos gremlins or philosophical burdens, and she spent decades in this hell house suppressing every scream. She tries to destroy the book, she rips it, shreds it, burns it, and in doing so she inhales the smoke and becomes the vessel. Once possessed, she's gloriously deranged, knife-wielding, raspy, eyes blazing with maternal malevolence. And Maggie, tiny, underappreciated Maggie, fights back, with homemade weapons. And in the final moment, just as Marge is about to gut her child, Maggie touches her cheek. One act of love, one moment of tenderness. Marge coughs up the Pookadook in a cloud of smoke and suppressed pain. And here's the brilliance, she doesn't destroy it, she vacuums it up and represses it again. Tucks it away in the basement like she's been doing for the last 40 years. It's quite heartbreaking, and hilarious, and so Marge. It's one of the most psychologically nuanced segments we've had in years. It's fabulously animated. The shadow play, the colours, the storybook horror aesthetic. And once again, Maggie saves the day. No dialogue, just weaponized love and a good cheek stroke. It's great, more homicidal Marge please. Number 7 goes to Dial Z for Zombies from Treehouse of Horror 3. If there was ever a segment that distilled the chaotic brilliance of early Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors into a single thing, it's this one. It's a parody at its most playful, irreverent, gory, and criminally quotable. This one fires on every cylinder. Bart goes rogue by pulling a Necronomicon out of the library, because of course every library has their entire forbidden occult wing. He intends to raise their beloved dead cat, Snowball 1. Instead, he resurrects the entire human cemetery. Springfield is instantly crawling with classic, groaning, brain-hungry zombies. And what does the family do? They load up. Homer grabs a shotgun and begins shooting corpses with gleeful indifference, and gives us one of the best moments in Simpsons history.
Dad, you killed the zombie Flanders!
He was a zombie?
It's iconic, it's comedic timing perfection. Dry, underplayed, timeless. They fight their way to the library where Bart and Lisa search for the counterspell while Homer holds off the horde with the kind of trigger-happy zeal that you know he's fantasized about for years. It's fast, it's sharp, and it's classic. There's no filler, just necromancy, chaos, and shotgun justice. And unlike a lot of the later segments that drag or get too self-congratulatory, this one knows when to stop. Bart casts the reversal spell, the zombies go back to where they came from, and that's it. Early Treehouse nailed this tone. Horror, but horror that's been beaten with a mallet and served with dry wit. This segment earned its place. It helped define the formula going forward, and it remains undead-proof decades later. He was a zombie? Number 6 goes to There's No Business Like Mo Business from Treehouse of Horror 20. This one probably isn't the most popular, but I am a sucker for a musical, so there's no way that this wasn't making my top 10 somewhere. It's a Sweeney Todd parody, but filtered through sticky beer taps, unhinged jealousy, and Mo's desperate, sweaty longing. It's a full stage musical, complete with curtains, spotlights, visible stagehands, and it's absolutely demented. Musicals and murder. You had me at blood as beer. Mo is lonely, lecherous, and longing for love as usual, and when Homer literally falls into his bar and gets impaled on the pipes, Mo does what any rational barkeep would do. He keg taps Homer's blood. The visual of Homer twitching and slowly draining into the beer lines is grotesque, and Mo sells it to the public as a boutique brew. People can't get enough of the stuff, and when Springfield gets plastered on Homer pints, Mo seizes that chance. He tells Marge that Homer has come out as gay and left her. The entire thing plays out like a Broadway fever dream. The songs are genuinely catchy, the set transitions are clever, and the whole thing oozes with that charming stagecraft absurdity. Ropes being pulled, trapdoors, deliberately fake puppets. It's pure theatre kid madness, and I love it so much. And the twist is that Homer survives. Despite being impaled, drained, and left for dead, he staggers back on stage like a drunk Phantom of the Opera, hurls a Mo dummy across the room, and reclaims his wife. It ends with a reunited Marge and Homer, and Mo humiliated once more. But the brilliance of this segment isn't in the horror, it's in the presentation. The musical staging, the fake stagecraft, the commitment to style. This one doesn't get enough credit. It's not the bloodiest or the scariest or even the funniest, but it's so well crafted. Every detail serves the concept. I love a Treehouse segment that commits to the aesthetic, and this one serves theatrical macabre on tap. It's earned its spot. Broadway horror, songs, Mo with a keg of blood. Pour me a pint. Number 5 goes to Easy Bake Coven from Treehouse of Horror 8. Because of course, the Bouvier sisters are witches. They were born for it, and this segment proves it in glorious green-skinned style. This one has everything: witch trials, burnings, mob rule, religious hypocrisy, and chain-smoking hags cackling over a cauldron. We open in an old version of Springfield where the townsfolk are already in a frenzy, roasting witches on pyres and shouting things like "Light the fires, boys." Then Marge, poised and glorious, tries foolishly to bring the mob to reason, but Mo accuses her of witchcraft purely out of spite, which, as it turns out, is correct. Due process, of course, means shoving her off a cliff with a broomstick. If she flies, she's a witch. If she dies, it's God's will. Flawless logic. But of course, Marge soars. She embraces her inner villain, eyes blazing, hair bursting open to unleash a swarm of bats. She's not just a witch, she's a petty witch. She immediately turns Wiggum into a gopher and his goons into a snowman and a fairy tale princess. It's petty theatrical vengeance, it's great. She reunites with Patty and Selma in their mountain lair. The three of them are in full evil hag mode, stirring cauldrons, gossiping, sneering at Marge for staying with Homer for so long. They're cynical and perfectly awful. I'd watch an entire series of these three just causing problems. They want revenge, and when Maud Flanders voices concern that witches might come and steal their children, cue the three witches at the door with sacks. It's instant villainy, it's so good. But then Maud offers gingerbread cookies instead, and the witches discover that candy is better than children. It's just a shame they filled up on all those other kids before getting to the Flanders. And trick-or-treating is born. It's a great origin story. Witchcraft, cannibalism, capitalism, it's like the three tenets of Halloween. Next year, everyone celebrates in costume, finally treating Halloween like the silly horror ritual that it is. Until Homer, having egged his own house, immediately accuses Lisa of witchcraft to deflect. The mob gives chase again, history repeats. Marge, Patty and Selma as a supernatural coven is flawless. They're petty, powerful, and just fantastic. And even turning people into animals and eating children, they still manage to be more likeable than the three witches from Charmed towards the end of that show, but that's a whole other thing. I would watch a spin-off about Marge, Patty and Selma as witches. The Broomstick Bouviers, Wednesdays at 8. It's peak Treehouse. Witchy, wicked, and just wonderful. Number 4 is If I Only Had a Brain from Treehouse of Horror 2. I'll be honest, this one should place a lot lower on my list, but it's only here for Mr. Burns singing the Wizard of Oz song. This isn't the strongest entry structurally, it's mostly just an excuse to turn Homer into a monster via corporate science. Burns needs a brain, sees Homer in the grave, steals him, installs him into a robot, shocked when the robot acts like Homer. It's a bit lazy, a bit stupid, and it's almost too accurate a simulation. It's less horror and more HR complaint. The robot starts smashing things, and Mr. Burns is disappointed in Homer's neural output and decides to return the brain. This may be the first time anyone's re-gifted a consciousness. The robot promptly collapses and crushes Mr. Burns, so Smithers sews Mr. Burns' head onto Homer's body. Problem solved. Is it elegant? No. Is it efficient? Also no. But that one moment of Mr. Burns singing "If I Only Had a Brain" from The Wizard of Oz is so macabre that it just transcends the rest of the list. It's mad science meets corporate satire meets show tune. Just for that one moment, it has its place here. It's not perfect, it's not clever, but it gave me Mr. Burns muttering show tunes while shopping for brains. And that is art. And now we enter the top 3, the Infernal Elite. And who better to greet us than Satan himself in the form of Ned Flanders? Because of course, number 3 goes to the Devil and Homer Simpson from Treehouse of Horror 4. I adore how casually Homer offers to sell his soul for a donut. Not even a particular donut, just a donut. It's beautifully on brand. And then he has the audacity to not finish the last bite, as if that'll outsmart the Prince of Darkness. But then he eats it anyway, and hell opens beneath him. This one has so many great visuals. Homer being dragged into hell, the spinning vortex, the jury, and I can't forget the iconic punishment, being force-fed every donut in the world. And the best part is that he just keeps eating. No breakdown, no screaming, just Homer being Homer like it's his birthday. Even the demon's baffled. We even get Lionel Hutz, my beautiful, incompetent legal goblin. He negotiates bathroom breaks and promptly flees the trial. It's iconic. The day is saved at the last minute by Marge. A literal wedding photo where Homer scrawled, "I pledge my soul to you, Marge." She owns his soul, so the devil loses the contract. And because Flanders Satan is a sore loser, Homer ends up with a donut for a head, which he starts eating. The entire segment is perfect. It juggles horror, satire, parody, and character comedy flawlessly. The jokes are timeless, the visuals are iconic, and the trial's absurd. This could have been number 1, but I do have 2 more masterpieces ahead. But in terms of quotability, cultural imprint, and sheer Halloween joy, this is peak Simpsons. Number 2 goes to another segment from Treehouse of Horror 4. 2 entries in the top 3. 4 was a juggernaut. Treehouse of Horror 4 proved that it understood the assignment. Number 2 is Bart Simpson's Dracula. It's just fantastic. Second place, deserved. Even before the segment really starts, with Homer losing his mind over the dogs playing poker painting, you know you're in for something special. Mr. Burns as Dracula is inspired. Saying the quiet part out loud into an intercom, perfect. Owning a blood bank, amazing. His autobiography is literally titled, "Yes, I Am a Vampire." And then there's the super fun happy slide that Bart knows is a trap but rides it anyway. And I will not overlook the Salem's Lot moment. Bart hovering at the window, it's perfect. That scene from Salem's Lot traumatized me as a kid, and The Simpsons casually drops it in, animated in all its nightmarish glory. And then the fake out, Mr. Burns wasn't even the head vampire, it was Marge all along. There's just something about vampires and The Simpsons that pairs like wine and garlic bread. It's a bit dangerous, but you can't look away. And this segment is peak. It's sharp, it's wicked, and surprisingly festive. Only 1 to go. The number 1 segment in Treehouse history for me. It's gonna take something devilishly brilliant to top Dracula, but I think we all know what it's probably gonna be. Of course, my number 1 pick goes to The Shinning from Treehouse of Horror 5. This is gold standard. Untouchable, unstoppable, the unkillable titan of Treehouse of Horror. This is the crown jewel. It's the masterpiece that every subsequent Treehouse of Horror has lived in the shadow of. It's a parody so flawless, so meticulously crafted, that it doesn't just spoof The Shining, it becomes its own horror classic. The premise is identical to Kubrick's, but filtered through Springfield logic. On the drive to Mr. Burns' remote mansion, Homer forgets to lock the door, twice. And then they leave Grandpa behind. The house tour is iconic. Built on an Indian burial ground, home to witch-burning, satanic rituals, and 5 John Denver Christmas specials. And the gag of the blood usually getting off at the 2nd floor is just amazing. Mr. Burns severs their access to television and beer, because of course he does, because this is a science experiment in madness. And the result is Homer's descent into homicidal insanity. It's swift, operatic, and utterly hysterical. Marge finds the typewriter, feeling fine. Lightning flashes, and there it is, scrawled across every surface. No TV and no beer make Homer go crazy. This leads to one of my absolute favourite moments in all of The Simpsons. Homer's wild meltdown. Carnival noises, unhinged movements, the lunatic chase. He then terrifies himself in the mirror. Marge locks him in a pantry, and Moe appears as a spectral bartender. A deal is struck, murder for beer. And when Homer hesitates, Moe sends in a team of cinematic monsters to drag him out. We even get the parody of the Here's Johnny scene. It's so stupid and perfect. And of course, Dear Willie rushes to help and is immediately axed in the back. Outside, Homer chases his family through the snow, axe in hand, until Lisa spots Willie's dropped portable TV. And with the return of television, Homer's sanity is instantly miraculously restored. They all sit in the snow, basking in television's warm, glowing, warming glow, before freezing to death in blissful domestic calm. And then, just when you think it's over, the Tony Awards, and the urge to kill begins to rise again. It's a final punchline so good that Kubrick himself would have applauded the symmetry. The segment has everything. Flawless pacing, spot-on visuals, perfect voice work, references for the horror purists, and jokes for the casual viewer. It's immaculately timed and endlessly quotable. Every frame is a loving, deranged homage to one of cinema's greatest horrors. And it's impossibly somehow funnier than it has any right to be. And for me, no Treehouse before or since has matched it. If The Shining isn't your number one, you are wrong. It's perfection, madness, and art. This is what happens when you take away beer and television and let chaos write itself. That is how you do Halloween. But there you have it. 34 years, over 100 shorts, ghosts, goblins, clones, witches, zombies, demons, death, and so much Flanders. Not every short is a winner, obviously. Some are just strange little creatures best left in the attic. Some are all polished, no punchline. But that's the beauty of Treehouse of Horror. It's an anthology for the ages, a sandbox of styles, a feast of formats. Classic horror? They've got it. Sci-fi thriller? Sure. Musical parody? Absolutely. It's had its ups and downs, but even the worst Treehouse of Horror is still a Halloween tradition. Even the clunkiest segments still carry that little thrill. That giddy, eerie, pumpkin-scented joy that says, it's October, the Simpsons are going spooky. Because what would Halloween be without a Treehouse of Horror? Empty, quiet, dull. But with a Treehouse of Horror, it's laughter, it's blood with a wink, it's Ned Flanders as the devil and Homer as a donut. It's 34 years of madness, mayhem, and Marge as a witch, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So whether you love the classics, defend the deep cuts, or just want to see Mr. Burns as a vampire again, just watch a Treehouse of Horror this Halloween. Because Treehouse of Horror is eternal. Stay spooky. And remember, if a cursed hammock ever offers you chores-free clones, just check they have belly buttons first.